Got everything good. Let me know if the audio for the actual clip is good. If you can hear the girl, if you can hear the lady, let me know if you can hear the lady. Hold on. Let me just, make sure everything is max volume.
How in the hell did I end up in a whirlwind relationship?
I got food over here.
Culminated in someone moving in with me after just a few months. I feel like this should be a drinking game. I'm gonna go get a glass of wine. Who lies about their height? Like, do you think I'm not gonna notice?
So, sorry, let me just, the disclaimer. She is giving you the synopsis of part 1. So listen closely. If you guys are new to the channel, new to whatever, we listened to part 1 yesterday around 11, from like 11 to 1. I gave my little commentary. I had seen part 1 already. So it wasn't like, you're going to get my real reactions because I've never seen part 2. Straight like that. So she's giving a synopsis right now. The first 5 minutes of this video is a synopsis of part 1. You can also watch the video that I posted. It should be live on my channel. You could watch if you want to see my recap and my input. It's on my channel. It's part 1. Volume is straight. Sweet. Cool, Sin. Thank you. Welcome in. And like I said, you're more than welcome. If you ever want to chime in outside of the chat, you are in the cord. You can join the chat on the cord and you can speak to me directly and your voice would be played onto the screen. So you let me know. Let's see how the shipwreck ends. Facts. All right, so let's get back into it. I'm going to restart my full for everybody. So we just, because I want to let the first minute and a half or whatever, I'm going to let her synopsis play full. I'm not going to say nothing. I should do full screen for real.
How in the hell did I end up in a whirlwind relationship that culminated in someone moving in with me after just a few months? I feel like this should be a drinking game. I'm gonna go get a glass of wine. Who lies about their height? Like, do you think I'm not gonna notice? He was being investigated for child and adult abuse. This was the first time that I experienced narcissistic rage. In this video, I'll be talking about some potentially triggering content such as narcissistic and emotional abuse, manipulation, violence, and brief mentions of sexual assault and child abuse. If the discussion of any of these topics are harmful for you or are simply too much for where you are in your mental health journey, I would definitely recommend skipping this video.
Thank you for the disclaimer. That's the same disclaimer that I have for everybody that's in the chat now. If this is not something that you're interested in, or if you're going to feel triggered at any point, you're more than welcome to just pass it on by, log out, watch somebody else do whatever. I'm not trying to make anybody feel any type of way. This is just what I like doing. I like just hearing people's stories and giving my little commentary on them. If you agree with it, you do. If you don't, well, how about it's right over here. Join the cord and let me know. Thanks. Unlicensed therapist, by the way.
The next couple of months were a bit of a whirlwind. If I thought Andrew was moving too fast in the beginning, he launched into warp speed after our first fight. And there were several key moments that I need to talk about. After my sit down with Rob, it was clear that I needed to make some time for Andrew to get to know my family. And right after the big fight, I invited everyone over for a weekend cookout. My hope was that it would be a chill, pressure-free way for us to converse while also having something grilling to occupy us in the event of any awkward silence.
Okay. Let me tell you the first problem with that. You want to talk to the family. If you guys remember, I really encourage y'all to go onto my page and watch part 1 if you haven't seen it. I told y'all, keep this note in mind. What her family like to talk about? Politics. She's a liberal herself, going around and starting rallies and doing A, B, and C, or doing whatever she said, campaigning. He don't like to talk about that shit. Why would you want to... She said her family is the biggest people. They talk about it so much, and you thought it's smart to bring him around that when that's going to be the topic of conversation. But that was a hard no for you. But still, you let him. Okay.
I severely underestimated the awkward. As soon as they arrived, the family and I got into our normal conversation groove. Like, Rob and I caught up on some work stuff. We talked about all the outdoorsy stuff we'd been doing. We showed Evelyn the arrowheads we'd collected from a recent rafting trip. But Andrew was largely silent during all of it, completely checked out. Even when Rob would try to initiate conversation with him, he'd answer with one or two words and then walk away. Yeah. At one point, me, Rob, and Andrew were all sitting out on the back porch while I was waiting for the chicken to finish grilling, and Rob was trying.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I just jumped over the fact that we're being family right now. So y'all are serious? This gaunt little man? The one that you said you were turned off by? But you let him hit. You let him crack. Alright. My fault. My fault. Yeah, 10 years ago, I guess a decade will do somebody in. Bad.
Desperately to get Andrew talking, just talking about anything, by asking him some questions about the army, his dogs, things like that. But it was agony trying to get him to say anything at all. And ultimately, there were just long, awkward periods of complete silence. It was so strange because I was used to the Andrew that wouldn't shut up even when I wanted him to. Once everything was finally cooked and we finally sat down to dinner, it was at this point that Rob finally got him talking a little bit. And good Lord, he said the weirdest thing possible. Rob asked him why he disliked being in the army so much. Andrew's answer? It was something along the lines of how men get shafted in the army and can essentially lose their whole lives because a woman makes a false allegation against them and everyone believes it. And
Of course, a red flag was going to be there. That was easy to call out. I just wanted to give you the definition of shafted because I thought I knew what that meant when I first heard it. I didn't. So let me just and I know I said I didn't see this clip. I mean, I seen 5 minutes of this part, so I know up to here. I'm being honest. I really didn't see this whole clip, so just relax on me. Define shafted. Shafted, past tense, shafted, principal. Brilliance. That's a lie. Shafted is crazy. No, was that? Am I stupid? Military. Am I dumb? Shafted. Help. I swear I looked this up. Shaft. Am I dumb? Is that not how you spell it? Shafted. Oh, there we go. Okay, I thought I was bugging. Yeah, why y'all make me feel like that? Shafted, an informal verb that means to treat someone unfairly or harshly or to cheat or trick them. For example, she was shafted by her agent to film the blah, blah, blah. So just unfair treatment. So there's 2 points to that because he was talking about unfair treatment, and then he also compounded it by saying, "Oh, did y'all see that? No, it probably didn't show on the screen. That's fine." Unfair treatment. He's just doubling down by giving an example of a story by the friend that he used. He's feeling some type of way. She's about to explain it, but I'm just saying, it was a dual thing because that unfairness is also a part that plays with the whole army thing. So keep that in mind.
And the specific story he was telling was about a sexual assault allegation of one of his friends that he knew wasn't true. Okay. Why would that be the only thing you'd say to my brother the whole goddamn day? Why? Rob did a really good job of keeping his composure, and I guess I did too, but I know that my face was beet red. As an aside, Rob later told me that Andrew absolutely could not make eye contact with him, could not look him in the eye. No problem looking Evelyn in the eye, though. Yay. Something else I want to make note of here is that Andrew repeatedly brought this day up in future arguments. Evelyn brought her latest crochet project with her, and she was working on it while we were sitting around and chatting. Now, Evelyn pretty much always has a crochet project in hand. Like, always. She's working on
Bringing up, once again, everything that you say can and will be used against you in the court of this relationship. You're bringing up past stuff. You want to glaze over it when it first happens, but then you want to bring it up as a talking point or as a dig when you are at odds. Like, it's
on it when we watch TV at their house, or while she and I are talking alone, or even in between her turns when we're playing a board game. But Andrew repeatedly brought this up about how awful it was to listen to me and Rob talk about work, and how Evelyn was so miserable being around us. That was why she was working on her projects. Insert giant fucking eye roll here. Late August, early September was also when things really started to get dicey with Andrew's retirement. His command ramped up their attempts to get his retirement completely revoked and instead forced through what's called an admin separation. That would mean no benefits even after 20 years of service and multiple deployments. I had noticed already that Andrew had a tendency to make really impulsive decisions, but what happened next really took the cake. One evening after work, he asked if we could take a walk to talk about something difficult. Well, he dropped a bombshell on me. He had literally overnight decided to sell his home. He had decided in a matter of 24 hours and without any certainty whatsoever of what would end up happening with his retirement, that the worst possible outcome was imminent. Andrew made assumptions about
I'm sorry. I was just texting, but did you hear what he just said? Did you hear that? He just sold his house. Let me let her say that whole part in its entirety, but I hope you guys are.
all kinds of something difficult. Well, he dropped a bombshell on me. He had literally
Big bomb.
overnight decided to sell his home. He had decided in a matter of 24 hours and without any certainty whatsoever of what would end up happening with his retirement, that the worst possible outcome was imminent. Andrew made assumptions about all kinds of things, big and small. His latest was that he would definitely get admin separated, even though his lawyer was assuring him that would never happen, and it didn't. That he would lose all retirement benefits, also didn't happen. And that he was going to have to pay upwards of $20,000 more to his lawyer. Didn't happen. So the only possible way he could survive was if he sold his home. Here's where this gets real sketch. He's telling me this all teary-eyed, telling me that he doesn't want to be a burden on me or put pressure on me to move in together, but that once he's out of the Army, he won't be able to afford a place of his own, even an apartment, and he'll have to move back to Washington. Even an apartment, and he'll have to move back to afford to move in together. But that once he's out of the Army, he won't be able to afford a place of his own, even an
He
apartment,
is crashing out.
and he'll have to move back to Washington to live with family members.
My issue is he's doing all this preemptively. You don't even know what's gonna happen, and why would you sell? Why would you sell what you have? I'm confused. I'm just confused. Like, because if you lose the case, are they taking the money? Like, I don't understand. I just don't get the. I don't understand the concept. Like, I feel like that's the one thing that you would want to keep in your name or something. Like, if you had owned the house already, like, I don't. Why would you sell? I just don't.
Wave the flag. He goes on about how he totally understands that even having this conversation with me is putting undue pressure on me, but that he wanted to be honest with me.
Okay.
I held my ground.
You have all this money right now. No, go take all that small ass cabin money and go and get a little motel. I'm not comfortable right now. I'm not. It is pressure on me. I'll give you an answer tomorrow or something when I have to think about it, because you know how you sold your house overnight. Well, let me think about this overnight. Go sleep in a fucking motel.
told him I was glad that he let me know, but that I was still not ready to move in together. And it was just far too soon for me to be comfortable with it. I did try to talk him off the ledge though. He was still almost 2 months out from retirement, and with the housing market booming for sellers, it wouldn't take long for his place to sell if it actually came to that. Why the rush? I told him I thought he was just panicking and he needed to take a step back and just be impatient with the process.
Exactly.
Fast forward 24 hours,
And
he
you
puts
sold the
on the
house.
market.
And that's the reason why, because you thought she was going to tell him something. He probably did that because he caught your ass. Another tactic. Caught your dumb ass. He did the opposite of what you just told him to do. Why are you being so impatient? Keep the thing. It's a good market. You can make more money, do whatever. Oh, she thinks that she knows what's about to... Why should I do this? Why should I flip the script? He probably didn't even sell that shit.
He came by my place all excited. He told me that he had thought of the perfect solution. He'd already run it by everybody in his family, and they all agreed that it was a great idea. He'd sell his cabin and become a van lifer. That's right. He'd live in a van. Now, don't get me wrong. I actually really admire van lifers. I've watched lots of van tour videos, and I follow several female solo van lifers on Instagram. I personally...
Did you hear that? That's the second, once again, referring back to my first video. Another thing that he said that she loves and admires. He is stalking your page. He knows what you love and admire. He knows what to say to get you. Van lifer, all these people that you follow on Instagram, you don't think he knows about that? He's just saying what he... are you stupid? That's mad random. But he hits the nail on the head every time, huh? Right? You're not thinking, come on, Rachel. I need you to turn it on a little bit.
Could never do it, but if there was anybody ever suited for van life, it was Andrew. He honestly believed that this was the solution to all of his problems.
How credible are his family members? Because did you meet them? Because he met yours. Are all his family members short and gaunt?
He could sell both his house and his primary vehicle, and this would give him enough proceeds to purchase a van outright, and he would still have enough left over to build it out himself. He'd build out the bed and then the electrical first, because then he could immediately start living in it, and therefore he wouldn't be imposing himself on me. And bonus, if he did get his retirement benefits, then he wouldn't have to work at all post-Army. His electric would be all solar, and he wouldn't have any expenses besides food, water, and gas. The only caveat, would you mind if I stay with you just occasionally and maybe sometimes use your shower? For Labor Day weekend, we went on our first and only true camping trip together. I am talking a full weekend of complete disconnection from the outside world, cooking on a fire, sleeping in a tent. To be honest, I was super excited about it, and I loved almost every minute of it once we were out there.
Oh, she loves this kid. This sucks. She's pissing me off now. Because you keep falling for...
We even took
How many times did she raise the red flag already? Did we count? I should have kept the tally mark. I'll do it next time. This is disgusting.
all 5 of our dogs. But Andrew did something incredibly manipulative while on this trip. It is the one time that
On top of him gifting you the stuff that he likes, going over your boundaries, telling him what he wants you to do, and his fantasy is you chasing after him after he does a little storm out or whatever. Really? This is the one that you're gonna clock. Let's hear it. It better be good.
I feel like he truly succeeded in manipulating me. One night, while I was very intoxicated, Andrew coerced me into saying that I wanted to live together. I have these vague memories of him asking me over and over while I was completely out of it on the floor of the tent, but I was completely incapable of consenting to that, and he knew it. Red fucking flag. The next morning, I was so freaked out by the whole thing because I wasn't even really sure what I had said. I was embarrassed, I was hurt, and I felt incredibly stupid. I had let him manipulate me, and I knew it. But you know what? No. Fuck that shit. I have nothing to be embarrassed about here. I was used. I was manipulated. I did nothing wrong. But it was at this point that I was really beginning to understand who he was and how deep of shit I was in. And quite frankly, I was a little bit afraid. We never explicitly talked again about him moving in, at least not that I remember. But on September 19th, Andrew started moving things in. As I expected, his cabin sold very quickly.
Okay. He really did sell his cabin. He's wildin'. Okay, listen to this now. You see how she didn't go into depth about that? And you don't want to take any blame for any embarrassment or whatever. You went out of cell phone range with a man that you barely knew. Oh, I can't disrespect him. A short, gaunt person that you said you didn't really like. Um, you went out there in the middle of nowhere and you became, I don't know what you did, lady, but you became inebriated enough, maybe? What was that? How y'all not talk about the move up to the day he moving? That's what I'm saying. It don't make no sense how you can remember that you got taken advantage of, but you don't bring it up until, like, it just doesn't. I don't. The dots aren't connecting for me, Rachel. I need you to connect them a little bit more straighter. The lines are not. It's not showing consistency, and I'm getting pissed because I was with you for a little bit, but you can't be like, what is it? Not the prey and the victim. You can't be the hunter and the victim at the same. Like, I don't know. It's just you're given like maybe you have a bigger scheme because you're giving him opportunities to literally pull one over your eyes. Whether you were crugged, you change that first letter because you know I don't want to say any triggering words. Whether you were crugged or you got crunk, you need to be accountable for that. You didn't think that was his mission anyway. You had second thoughts. He said he didn't want to do no pressure on you. I told you, let him sleep in a motel. If it was so much pressure on you, he did this overnight. Give him a second. He takes you away just so that you can admit it. It's not like nothing was written on paper either. You could say, I don't remember that. Fight. But no, you want to address it the day he starts moving shit in. What did we talk about this? Oh, you remember we went camping? No, I don't, because you crugged me. Or no, I don't, because I was mad lit. And I'm still not comfortable. So go back to the motel that you were sleeping in. Go back to the RV that you were sleeping in. Whatever you was doing, go back to it. Boundaries, once again, you have to be firm on them. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's that hard.
And he had to empty it out. Almost everything he owned, which wasn't much to begin with.
Once again, Mama Sin, you in the Discord. So at any point, and anybody else who's watching, if you want to follow me on this, it's called Discord with a D, Discord. I really can't promote this a lot because I'm gonna get in trouble. But if you, or just look for this app. I don't. Wow, that just makes sense now. Maybe it's in my. Is it in my bio? I could have put it in my bio. If it's not in my bio, follow me on that so you could join, so you could put your 2.2 in, and we could talk together.
It actually went into a storage unit. He mostly only brought moving in, at least not that I remember. But on September 19th, Andrew started moving things in, as I expected.
September 19th. Hold on, I'm just trying to get the thing because they've been dating for a little bit. They met. He got out his relationship in April, right? Started fuck with you in June, July, April, May, June, July, August, September. 2 months in. So this is the third month? This can't be the third month and he's about to move in with you. No, that doesn't make sense. That can't be the timeline. That's not fair. If this is 3 months, this is disgusting. You're dumb. This cannot. No. This cannot be a 3 month period. I want to think it's like a 1 year, 3 month period. How did you? Nope.
His cabin sold very quickly, and he had to empty it out. Almost everything he owned, which wasn't much to begin with, actually went into a storage unit. He mostly only brought clothes to my house. I did explicitly tell him, though, that he could not change his address to my house. The main reason being that I have 3 dogs. He has 2. In the city limits, you are only allowed to have 4 pets total, and 3 plus 2 is 5.
I never heard
On top of
that.
You have to license your dogs here. Mine are licensed. They are registered to my address.
I didn't like
He
states
can't
and whatever do that.
license 2 more dogs at my address. he agreed to change his address to his dad's. I think that in some warped way, I was trying to convince myself that this wasn't actually happening, that I had not let him manipulate me into this. But he started posting things on Facebook with no warning, referring to my house as his home. I had not even had time to tell anybody about it yet. My phone immediately started blowing up with messages from friends and acquaintances asking what in the hell was going on. My hairdresser even texted me about it, for fuck's sake. Hi, Katie. This actually led to a pretty good spat between us. Andrew started yelling about all my friends being shitty people for being all up in our business. Why can't they just be happy for us?
You posted it online, people are gonna comment. You didn't know that by now? Look at your
Well, shit, I wasn't happy for us. I wasn't happy about any of this. So imagine my surprise when I started getting his mail at my address.
Oh! I told you! So now we stepping clearly over boundaries. What are you gonna do, ma'am? Rachel, let's hear it. Come on, you better make me proud.
The one thing I asked him not to do. Oh, and guess what? I am still to this day getting his mail. Around this time, Andrew really started showing more and more of his true colors. We had been dating around 3 months at the
You didn't cut that shit. It was 3 months! It was 3 months! And he's changing his address to yours? And you didn't clock that? You didn't shut it off? We're not gonna make it through this video, Sam. We're not gonna make it through this video. We're not gonna make it through this video. We're not gonna make it through this video. This is disgusting. I can't do this. I can't do this. It has been 3 months. And he stepped over the fattest boundary that you've ever set. You were still talking to him. There's more. Don't get me wrong. This entire video is definitely about how he showed his narcissistic behaviors, but a very large portion of it is how she was susceptible to it. I really hope everybody is listening. Just watch the cues. I think what she's really doing is showing her faults. That's what it makes me think, because it's just too many. The way she's telling the story, she looks stupid, but why would she tell the story like that if she didn't mean something behind it? I think she's just trying to let people know while you're in it, these are the red flags that you just should be privy to. I keep saying this. Just be open that these could, like, this is what's happening. She looks back at it, not a boogie, and she's like, yo, red flag, red flag, red flag. I should have been out of here. But when you're going through it, you don't know. On top of the certain circumstances, the COVID, the 7-year marriage, 3-year hiatus by herself, decade time matched with COVID, and then people all coming back inside and not being able to talk to other people, and the awkwardness and whatever the case is. Cool, I get it, but there's still boundaries that are set. There's still things, there's still standards that you set for yourself, that you abide by, that you let yourself be like lower to. If you're on level 10, don't go to level 2 for somebody else. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's a standard that you set for yourself, and you drop the bar, but then you want to blame him? No, you blame yourself. Don't lower your standards. It's not that deep. So let me back up a little bit. Let me let her say her 3 months, because that was a I told you so moment, and I love that when I say that. So, and we on the first part, Lord have mercy. We're not making it through.
When I started getting his mail at my address, he fucking changed his address to mine. The one thing I asked him not to do. Oh, and guess what? I am still to this day getting his mail.
And that should show something for you. That's still a F you. I hope that's a smack in your face every time you get Andrew Daniels. I didn't that's not his name, y'all. Relax. Every time you get his mail, I hope you just hit your chest like, yo, I was a dumbass. Like, I'm a dumbass. Because
still, around this time, Andrew really started started showing more and more of his true colors. We had been dating around 3 months at this point, so I guess the timing fits. He had a bunch of very black and white opinions about things, and especially people. People were either good or bad. There was no in between, and pretty much everyone was bad. He had a penchant for pointing out people's faults, even people that were supposedly his friends. If anyone watching knows Andrew and climbed with him or worked with him or even just got the occasional dinner with him, he talked shit about you. He said some nasty things about every single person he encountered.
But he did that. He probably did that on purpose, because the only things that maybe he would say nice things about, if he did, was you, which would make you feel special in comparison to everybody else. Because that's also another tactic which goes into love bombing. But she didn't say that, so let's see what happens. Just making that, just put that in your head.
I had noticed.
My fault. What was that red flag?
Dinner with him, he talked shit about you.
Yeah, of course.
He said some nasty things about every single person he encountered. I had noticed early on that Andrew didn't really have any friends. Not any true friends, anyway. That in and of itself is a flag. He associated with a lot of people, but there wasn't anyone that he was actually close with, that he confided in.
A friend to everybody is a friend to nobody. Ugh.
And I was starting to understand why no one was good enough for him. Even his so-called best friend, a girl he'd known forever up in his home state, had all of these negative traits that he fixated on. He even started ragging on my friends. Tammy was obviously a shitty person because she told me about him reaching out to her when we had that fight. Rob was too wrapped up in politics and work, so obviously he didn't like him. He even told me that my niece was weird because during a sushi dinner one night, she stared at him the whole time. Like, okay, she's a teenager. The fuck, dude? Speaking of friends, though, like,
because he probably looks mad small and weird.
Everything on Facebook. Things that didn't even have anything to do with me. I had already noticed that he would frequently, like, post things on Facebook and Instagram and then turn around and delete it the very next day if people didn't like it. Meaning, like, he wasn't getting enough engagement on his posts, whatever enough means. He later, like, much later, admitted to me that the reason he was tagging me and everything was because I had so many more engaged friends than him, and I got so many more likes and comments. Okay, you big freak. During this period, the love bombing.
So once again, what he lacks in height, he's trying to make up for it in hype. What he lacks in height, he's trying to make up for it in hype.
Morphed into doing little things around the house to help out and not be a burden. He would mow the lawn or pick up the massive amounts of dogs.
At least he being a guy.
There were now 5 dogs here, and which,
at least he being a
great. I would expect someone living in my house to do things to help out, but he had to make absolutely sure that I knew
You're right.
he was doing these things. He made a production out of all of them.
I'm not gonna lie. That's funny. That's a good one. If you're gonna do your job, that's fine. You can announce it. You can make a production too. You better do your duty. She might be gassing this one. Take out the trash, pick up the poop, do all that. If you want to sing, skip, jump, and hop while you do it, that's fine. I'll watch you do it, but I ain't doing it. Not when you living here for free. Nope. So sing your happy ass outside and pick up the shit. That's on you.
There was an expectation of a reward. To him,
not a reward.
I owed him something. I
What?
owed him acknowledgement and validation. It was about this time that he started to ask me for a ring. I haven't even told anyone in real life this part, but I'm not kidding. Besides the fact that it was just absolutely ridiculous to even broach the topic of marriage, I'm not interested in getting married.
3 months in.
And
3
I
months
can
in.
do this, but
A hard turn off his kids. Obviously, a hard turn off his marriage. A hard turn off was going to church. A hard turn off was the politics. A lot of hard turn offs that she still had. When a hard turn off was the height that he lied about. A lot of hard turn offs. So come on. You're not really saying much, baby.
But he wanted me to profess my love by getting him a ring that he could show off to the rest of the world. He actually told me this. He wanted it to show other people that he was loved. It had nothing to do with me. It was about him. And every time he asked me,
So y'all on some promise ring type shit. What grade are we in? 6? 7th? Because that's when I gave my first.
if I would put a ring on it, I just answered, maybe, someday, knowing full fucking well that was never gonna happen.
It's crazy. What's up, Just?
At the end of September, he bought his van. That dumb van would end up being my saving grace. In October, he was focusing most of his time on building it out. And I actually started to get really frustrated with just how much he was here. I work from home. And one of the reasons I like working from home is because I don't have to deal with the daily interruptions of people just stopping by my office to chat. I like it because I'm more productive. But around this time, the Army told Andrew to stop coming on to base. It was essentially like him being on leave.
My fault. I'm gonna go back just for Just, because it's my guy. Not much. We just recapping. If you weren't here, the video I put up yesterday is a lot more explanatory of what's going on today and what I'm doing. But just to go through it real quick, we just recapping with this girl's story, whatever, on narcissistic behavior from a relationship that she's been through or whatever. And I'm just giving my 2.2 on it, my input, my opinion, because topics like these do interest me. So that's it. We just chilling, we listening. I'm putting my input in, and you're more than welcome to put your input in as well. I have the Discord open if you want to come actually in the chat and like speak to me on it. Like we could chat it up, or you could just talk in the comments. Everything is there. Everybody who's new to the thing, please follow me on the links below. The new schedule, by the way, just is 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday at what did I say, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday, maybe. And then on the weekends, I'll be doing whatever, just a straight, same thing. So follow me on those at. You can follow me on all these at the below. This one is to talk to me. This is the one I'm streaming on. This is the one I'm streaming on. Damn, you could also check my bio because I'll be on other stuff as well. Straight, what's up? Schedule gonna look like. 8 p.m. Monday to Thursday, Eastern Standard Time. Maybe. The reason why I say maybe is because it's not guaranteed that I'm going to be on Monday through Thursday all the time. But if I am going to be on, it will definitely be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will see me at 8 p.m. if I'm on. That's through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I probably might be doing stuff like this, and it'd be random times. You just have to catch me. But I do try and give you out a little update, give you the time when I be going live. If you follow me here, the updates come here. But if your notifications on, I be talking in the chat. Yo, I'm about to go live. I'm about to do that. I'm about to do that this time. I be giving y'all updates. Y'all just got to stay up with it. So with that being said, I'm going to go back like 10 seconds, and then let's continue listening so that we could just jump back in.
Was here. I work from home, and one of the reasons I like working from home is because I don't have to deal with the daily interruptions of people just stopping by my office to chat. I like it because
Shit, I wish.
Because I'm more productive. But around this time, the Army told Andrew to stop coming on to base. It was essentially like him being on leave, so he was just here all the time, constantly coming into my office and just sitting down and talking or grabbing at me because, oh yes, that annoying behavior started again. Or he was asking me to come outside so he could show me some dumb thing he did on the van that I did not give two shits about in that moment.
Okay, so he really did sell the house. He has the van. And another boundary that she set, which was him grabbing on those titties, he's still doing now. But now while she's working, crazy work.
I have never been more miserable in my entire life.
I got you, Jess.
Alone, and he took that away from me by nefarious means. Mid-October, the family came over again to play D&D. We had been planning this day for weeks. It was going to be my nephew's maiden voyage as a DM, and we were going to be playing a homebrew campaign that he had written. My nephew was so excited, and honestly, I was too. In preparation for the campaign, we had to build out new characters, and man, I was like already frustrated with Andrew ahead of the game day because even though he seemed enthusiastic about playing for the first time, he chose to play a pre-made, well-known character from a series of books. It was completely lame and unoriginal, and if you have ever played D&D, you know that's not how it's done. But the day
Do not disturb. Dragons and Dungeons.
I had
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. They going out to do what? Wait, what are they going out to do? Hold on. I'm confused.
Because, oh yes, that annoying behavior started again. Or he was asking me to come outside so he could show me some dumb thing he did on the van that I did not give two shits about in that moment. I have never been more miserable in my entire life. I love the living alone, and he took that away from me by nefarious means. Mid-October, the family came over again to play D&D. We had been
Your
planning
family.
this day for weeks. It
Your
was gonna
family.
be my nephew's maiden voyage as a DM, and we were going to be playing a homebrew campaign that he had written.
Okay.
My nephew was so excited, and honestly, I was too.
Was it the niece that was staring at him or the nephew? I'm pretty sure it was the niece. Okay.
In preparation for the campaign, we had to build out new characters, and man, I was like already frustrated with Andrew ahead of the game day, because even though he seemed enthusiastic about playing for the first time, he chose to play a pre-made, well-known character from a series of books. It was completely lame and unoriginal, and if you have ever played D&D, you know that's not how it's done. But the day of the actual game was even worse. I had explained to Andrew that we would be playing for hours, literally hours.
Yep, that's what
We made
D&D is.
snacks, we
Yeah.
had food, like it's a deal. It's a whole day kind of.
I never did no D&D, but I did hear it was fun. I would try it definitely. Somebody let me know about it if y'all know about it in the trail. But D&D is crazy. I heard games could go from 30 minutes to like 6 to 8 hours, depending on how the game goes. That's a fun thing, but I digress.
Thing. But I also explained that he had to be involved and imaginative for it to be fun. And once again, he totally checked out. Knowing that this afternoon was coming, that this game day was coming, and knowing the commitment that it took, he spent most of the day outside hooking up his stupid solar panels because it just had to be done that day. And when he was in the room with us, he acted like a complete fucking jackass. He was making intentionally bad and uncharacteristic decisions for the tune that he was playing, which ended up harming our entire party.
Of course.
But it gets worse. He, for some reason, known only to him, went on a tangent again about women, completely unprompted.
He is just you are picking up the same whatever she's dropping. You're right on point. So stay with it.
This time, it was about how women use men to get what they want. And he did this in front of my sister-in-law and my teenage niece.
Ah, it was her. So she's there. I caught her at the red flag. It's the niece again, showing his ass.
Andrew never made these derogatory comments about women to me. So I was always baffled why he would say these things in front of them.
Lies. Sent. You clocked that yesterday. That's a lie. Because when he was with you, and you said about somebody's daughter or somebody's niece or somebody's whatever, and they talked about the bi thing, or how she's bi, and they said the LGBT thing, whatever, and she said, I don't know how she made that decision, whatever. That was another derogatory comment that you didn't have to make. So it's not the first time. But are you now just getting aware that this is not the first time? Get out of my face.
But Rob pointed out later that he wasn't saying that.
It's just she don't. She's not aware. So she's telling a story from a past tense thing. Like she's been through the story. She's been through the healing. She went to therapy. She knows the term. She knows now what was good and what is bad. So she's telling it from like a higher stance of her previous self, who was lower, who she didn't know. She might have been lying to herself. That's the issue. It's so bad. She got manipulated so bad, but she also was so dumb that she was being manipulated. Like she walked into so many traps. It's like seeing a booby trap in there and saying, "Oh my God, there's a string on the floor. Let me go and touch it." Like, the freaking axis is gonna smack you off the map or something. Like, why would you step in the bear? Don't play with me. Anyway, his daughter is gay and he was ignorant about it. It's going back 10 seconds.
Women to me. So I was always baffled why he would say these things in front of them. But Rob pointed out later that he wasn't saying them to us. He was saying these things to Rob. It was his attempt to commiserate with my brother. And this is something that...
Hold on. What was that?
Us. He was saying these things to Rob. It was his attempt to commiserate with my brother. And
Okay, so let's define commiserate, because for those that don't know, I know what it means. I think just to relate, to relate. Define commiserate. Is that how you spell it? No, it was two M's with an E. Express the feeling of sympathy or sympathize with. Yep. Okay, so he's trying to relate to his brother. So that's another tactic that he's trying to use. He's trying to get somebody from her side to be on his side so that he can continue to do the shit that he's been fucking doing. So that at the end of the day, the brother could be like, oh, no, that's my guy. Andrew's my guy. We commiserated over the kissing ass. Like, shut up.
And this is something that my abusive ex did too. Gross.
Wow. Look at that. I just clicked something on accident. Oh, wow, I paused at the right time.
All of this brings
Oh,
up
sweet. Hold on.
something that my abusive ex did too. Gross.
So now she's also relating the feelings that she's having currently to a past relationship of an abusive partner. And you're still not waving. You should have ended that scene with a red flag. If that doesn't ring bells in your head and your families, once again, who's dumb here? That's the real thing. Who's acting more crazy? Who is more at fault? That's the one question that's going to be posed at the end of this. Who is more at fault? Him or her? Him for manipulating her, or her for being that stupid? If anybody wants to join and put their 2.2 in right now, this is the time. Once again, the thing is open. The court is open. Follow me if you haven't already on the court. If you wanted to talk about it, please let me know. Join up in the thing and we'll have a little conversation. But we have to get to the video. So if nobody want to be up, I'm continuing on.
All of this brings us to the explosive culmination of mine and Andrew's relationship. By the start of November, Andrew had received confirmation that he would officially retire on the 30th. 1 month after his original retirement date. His terminal leave was reinitiated, meaning that he was free to spend the next month however and wherever he wanted. By this point, he had gotten far enough on his van build that he could comfortably travel in it. So that is what he decided to do. Thank God. On November 2nd, he embarked on a 3-week to commiserate with my brother. And this is something that my abusive ex did too. Gross. All of this brings us to the explosive culmination of mine and Andrew's relationship. By the start of November, Andrew had received confirmation that he would officially retire.
They got together in June. April, May. Okay, so June, July, August, September, October, November. So it's now been 6 months. It's been 6 months since they've been together. He asked for a ring on the 3rd month. It's been 6 months. They moved in together. He sold the house. He did all this bullshit. It's been 6 months. Y'all are together. He's asking for a ring. He's asking for a ring, the guy.
Andrew had received confirmation that he would officially retire on the 30th, 1 month after his original retirement date. His terminal leave was reinitiated, meaning that he was free to spend the next month however and wherever he wanted.
Her personality type attracts people like this. Just.
By this point, he had
She's a people
far
pleaser.
on his van build that he could comfortably travel in it. So that is what he decided to do. Thank God. On November 2nd, he embarked on a 3-week road trip. His plan was to travel through various state and national parks in Utah, Arizona, then up the West Coast, and he'd be back just before Thanksgiving to spend the holiday with me. I was ecstatic. Words cannot describe how much I was looking forward to him just being gone. I would have my house back to myself for a few weeks, and I could get back into a stable routine.
He wouldn't blow your shit up again?
I could really focus during my work days. I could hang with Rob and Evelyn again on the weekends. I even occupied some of my free time by starting a large woodworking project with another friend, Christy. My hope was also that this little break might, make the heart grow a little fonder And truth be told, it kind of did. Because Andrew was traveling in such remote locations with no cell phone service, we'd sometimes go a day or two without talking. He was taking some amazing photos along the way and then like uploading them in batches to social media. And honestly, I was a little bit jealous of his adventures, and I wished that I'd been able to go with him. As his return date approached,
What the
I found myself
oh my
actually
god, shut up. Shut up. Are they still together at this point? Like, she feeling the excitement and knowing still in a relationship with him. Crazy work. Yeah, true. Like, that's what I'm saying. You see how she's so in between in limbo? I mean, that's how they want you. That's how they want you, though. That is how the narcissist wants you. It's the cat and mouse game. He goes away so that you could chase him. She is literally, she's on the string. She is Jerry. Tom is gone. She's chasing. He's the mouse. She took the bait dumb long ago. She don't know this yet. She's over here loving his life. He's doing whatever. Oh, I wish I was there. I wish I was. You was just mad at him. He gave you your space back. He put up your boundaries again so that you could think that you had some control again. I'm telling you, he's playing your game. He's playing your game that you thought that you created. He's playing your shit now. This is bad. She's just flip-flopping. Yes, because she don't know. She's being manipulated. She is around. She brought him the ring. Exactly what it shows. That bitch is around his finger. It's over.
looking forward to seeing him again. On Saturday, November 20th, Andrew had departed his last stop and
Sorry, Rachel, you're not a bitch.
was making his way back. He was texting me periodic updates to let me know where he was, and by early afternoon, he had crossed the border into Colorado. I was piddling around the house, like tidying up, and then I got a really random text message. I may have made your mom mad. What? How? I pointed out her argument was flawed on Facebook. It's kind of hard to disprove video. Shrug emoji. I had no idea what the hell this boy was fucking talking about. Flawed argument about what? I need a little context here. I need a snack.
Yeah, me too. Wait, what's going? Wait.
He said the sex offender who was yelling, "Shoot me fucking N-word," to Kyle was acting in self-defense.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was gonna get this crazy. I don't know what's going on. Now there is a little point. He has a little trial going on for not abuse. What was it? Domestic violence from his previous relationship. The guy Andrew. He has a previous case going on. So I feel like he's triggered because he's seeing just about abuse, whether it's sexual or whatever abuse in general. He has a thing to say about it. Whatever. Now this whole N-word stuff and whatever. This is again a little heavy. And I wanted to avoid these words, but unfortunately they're coming up and I have to go back because I have to understand the story. So shit.
Odd argument about what? I need a little context here. I need a snack.
Like I said, if you're gonna be triggered, you could just bounce. That's your warning. Follow me on the links below. Not the links, the ads below. Alright, sorry.
She said the sex offender who was yelling, "Shoot me fucking N-word," to Kyle was acting in self-defense. I don't think your mom watched the videos. I honestly had no idea what Andrew was talking about. Like, I figured out that he was talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial that had just ended, but I hadn't paid that close attention to specific pieces of evidence. I did not know what videos he was talking about, and for the life of me, I could not find this exchange with my mother on Facebook. I searched her profile and his, but I could not figure out where this conversation had occurred. I immediately felt really strange about this. For one, in his text message to me, he had not actually censored the N-word. He spelled it out. Two, why was he even talking to my mother? He had never met her, and he...
Wait. Yo. Another boundary. If you would see part 1 of this video, if you would yo, this is funny. She said, and she yelled it. Her biggest boundary at the end was, "And don't be a freaking racist." I think every like what the 6 of her hard no boundaries that she set have all been crossed, and yet you have not. You're still with the guy. You relish his time. You relish his short ass, gone ass time. Confused.
He had never spoken to her before. I honestly had no idea how to respond to this, so I just ended the conversation. I think I literally just said, okay, and he didn't bring it up again. When Andrew arrived that evening, I had honestly pretty much forgotten about it. I had not heard from my mom, so I assumed it wasn't a big deal. He was beaming when he saw me, and I was admittedly excited to see him at first. He was exhausted from the drive. We'd had plans to go get sushi.
It's his
for dinner,
mother
but it was
or her
so
mother.
late that
Like,
we ended up ordering pizza. So we unpacked his stuff, and like he excitedly showed me his spoils from the trip. You know, stickers for the van, arrowheads. He'd even brought me back a coffee cup. That night,
selective memory.
laying in bed though, my brain would not stop screaming at me. The reality of
She blind. She want. Just you right. I think she wants it, and I'm telling you now. I'm gonna say it one more time. If I didn't say it before, that prick has to be fire. For a short, gaunt man, the prick has to be lit because things aren't adding up. 2 plus 2 is just not equal 4 in this world. Something has to be doing something, cause, gosh.
of him and his dogs being back in my personal space.
Or she's dumb. Or she's dumb. Or she's dumb.
It all being in bed though, my brain would not stop screaming at me. The reality of him and his dogs
Facts, Jess.
being back in my personal space, it all came crashing in on me very quickly. All I could hear in my head was, get out, get out, get out. It was so loud in there that I was afraid I was actually going to scream it out loud. Little did I know that the very next day, he would cross that rage boundary with me for the second time and make my path forward clear as fucking day.
Okay,
Christy
let's see
and
it. Let's
I
hear it.
had plans on Sunday to work on the woodworking project we had been building for the past several weeks. I was really looking forward
And she ain't follow her, what? And she ain't follow her
to
nerves.
this day because it was
Guess
our
not.
first pour of epoxy. Andrew had a number of things he needed to do. Climbing gym, laundry, stuff like that. So the plan was for him to swing by her house that afternoon as we were wrapping up so that he could see our progress. And then he and I would go out to dinner. But by that night,
Did she
we
just
had
smoke?
planned to
I'm sorry.
swing by her house that afternoon as we were wrapping up so that he could see our progress. And then he and I would go out to dinner. But by that night,
I'm sorry.
we had completely imploded. At 11:58 a.m., right as I was parking in Christy's driveway, I received a text message from Rob.
Christy's a new friend.
Screenshots of the conversation the day before between Andrew and Mom. It was the first time I saw what was actually said. For context, Mom's original comment was not to Andrew. It was not to anyone in particular. It was a public comment on a news article on Facebook. The article was about the public outrage over Kyle Rittenhouse's not guilty verdict and the ramifications of the court of public opinion for the rest of Kyle's life. Here's what was said. Mom said, "How do we know the 2 people who died didn't see Kyle with a gun and considered him a threat, not just to themselves, but everyone there? How do we know they weren't rushing him to attack him, but to disarm him and stop him from shooting people? We don't know that because they're dead. Carrying around a gun openly in a situation like that is asking for trouble. I've heard this argument a lot about the open carry laws. How are we supposed to identify the good guys from the bad? We will never know the intent of the men who died. Maybe they were just trying to stop what they perceived as a bad guy. Kyle may not be guilty of murder, but he deserves everything he's gotten and will get the rest of his life for his stupid, careless behavior."
It's getting
Andrew
political.
responded, "'Cause there is video of the guy screaming, 'Shoot me fucking N-word.' Kyle doesn't shoot him. Then the guy chases Kyle, attacks him, throws shit at him. Sorry, if a registered sex offender is screaming, 'Shoot me N-word,' and attacks me, I'm shooting him. Sorry if your feelings are hurt," Mom replied. Andrew, care to share that video? The only video I've seen is someone rushing him and Kyle shoots him before he gets to him. There was no verbal exchange. But that wasn't really the point of my comment. Showing up with a rifle provoked and incited the conflict between them. You have to wonder if he were actually there administering medical help as he claimed, with no rifle, if any of that would have happened. Nor was he standing guard at someone's business. He was wandering the streets brandishing a rifle. He has no one but himself to blame for what he's been through, except maybe his mother, Andrew. Wandering the streets? He was at one location and then was chased through the streets by a mob. That's called retreating. He didn't provoke anyone, he retreated. He was attacked, he defended himself. I have a gun on me right now. That doesn't give you or anyone else the right to attack me. And if someone does, and I fear for my life, I have every right to shoot you. You can literally watch all 3 altercations on video and see exactly what happened. Odd that you only saw one small portion that only fits the narrative that whatever news channel you are watching fed you. And if you want to see the video, Google Joseph Rosenbaum shoot me N-word video. You can also watch the video of Joseph chasing, attacking, and Kyle retreating until he has to shoot. Mom finally replied, Andrew, the only video I've seen was on Fox. What narrative do you think I'm trying to fit? I'm not anti-gun, LOL. I have a concealed carry permit because just like my Amex, I never have to wait. Student you know, we got a comment on that. Bad. That was.
Yeah, maybe that's my fault. Let me switch back. I might have to. I'm skipping past that next time. We didn't. I mean, it was for context purposes to know where the beef started. I wanted to give everybody that, but I didn't want to go into the details of this bullshit because this brings too much politics into it. This is too much, and then you wonder why I can only do one video a day. I'm not trying to bring and swirl all this together. I'm trying to find out about the relationship and how this is transpiring to more personally, not between what happened between you and your mother. How did it get distasteful? How did it get nasty? I don't care about the Rittenhouse case right now. Damn, I'm skipping past all this. You're right. Should have said that a little bit earlier, Sam. Damn.
What was the point of my comment? Andrew even found my mom's comment on that article. Okay, I have no idea how Andrew guys from the bad. That was the point of my comment.
Okay, so we're going to strike that. We're going to act like it's a court case. We're going to strike all that. The last 5 minutes, everything that you heard, look, and let me just give you an example. I don't want to confuse nobody now. From this point on, not even, I'll explain it. They had a he texted, Andrew texted the girl, Rachel, I had a spat with your mother, whatever, and this is how it happened. And he just sent them the background. We're going to skip all the background BS. This is where it started from. We're going to start right here. What you say? Okay, sorry. That's it. Yeah. We striking everything else. This is how it started. This is where it's from. I beefed with your mother, and this is it. Strike all in between. The whole case, everything is irrelevant. If you want to take something from it, it's the fact that it has to do with like maybe racism or something, which is a hard no for her. That's the whole point you have to take from all that. So cut all that middle shit out. I had beef with your mother.
To this day, I have no idea how Andrew even found my mom's comment on that article. Rob later sent me a link to it, but
Stalker.
I wasn't able to find it by searching. Also, Andrew again did not censor his use of offensive, racist terms. I am censoring them here because it's fucking gross. I was flabbergasted. I'm not even gonna go into the fallacies of his dumb arguments. That's not the point. But why on earth did he think it was appropriate to speak to my mother that way? My mother, a woman he had never interacted with before, had never met. My mom, sorry if your feelings are hurt. That line alone was dripping with contempt. And then he tried to drag me in the middle of it the day before. Tried to get me on his side before she had a chance to tell me about it. As if I was ever going to agree with him on this. I walked into Christie's and I just lost it. I told her pretty much everything that had been
I told you.
going on, and I filled her in on this latest round of tomfoolery, and Rob and I texted
The relationship would have been over way before that, trust me.
throughout, and the more I talked with him and Christy, the more freaked out I got. My anxiety was like ratcheting up higher and higher, and I was having trouble focusing on the project at hand. but I powered through it. Here is the exchange between me and Rob. It was kind of sporadic because I was also in the middle of trying to pour epoxy into this big woodworking project that we've been working on for literally weeks. Okay, seriously?
Oh
what
my
the
God,
fuck?
more text messages.
This is how he chose to engage with Mom for the first time.
Ooh.
And he certainly has no issue throwing racial slurs around.
Ooh.
And a lot of hints about typical media conspiracy.
Ooh.
There is something wrong here. He told me he was debating with Mom about the trial thing, but I hadn't seen it. Rachel, he has issues with a lot of different people. He just continues to reveal his true self. This is not a good situation, and deep down, you know it. I become more and more worried for you.
Surface level, you know it.
Every time I learn something new. I'm super annoyed about this and honestly really surprised, but what other things are you talking about? Also, where even is that post? Because I can't find it.
So let's stop there. So now this is the second person. So the second person, her being Rachel's brother, is telling you now you kind of need to end it with this. The first time was the best friend. When your best friend sent you the text message back talking about some hashtag red flag, the same as Jess is saying right now, I don't know. Take it for what it is. Now you're in this shit and your mother's in the... Come on now.
He links to the post. He has deep-seated issues with women. He is not interested in anyone else's lives or activities. He's also very quickly attached himself to your house. He also probably has issues with people of color as he's defending a white supremacist. The gun fantasy doesn't help my opinion. So by this point, I was a nervous fucking wreck. Andrew had finished up at the gym and
Opposite
was
attract,
on
huh?
his way to Christie's. Christy was freaked out because now he knows where she lives. And I was literally asking her, I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do right now? So I recalled the pact that Andrew and I made. If we had something difficult to talk about, we'd go for a walk and talk it out until it was resolved. I was under no illusion that this would be resolved, but I was also in no way comfortable having this conversation within the confines of my home. My plan was to pretend like everything was fine when he came by Christie's, and I would head home, then immediately ask him to walk with me.
What
I could
resolve?
hear
Leave his
music
ass.
blasting when he
Right.
pulled up to her house.
Lord have
so
mercy.
I walked out front to meet him, and I guided him in through the house to Christie's garage.
Right.
She and I both kept our composure. We talked him through everything we'd done with our project. He was only there maybe 10 minutes when I suggested that we head back to my place. I walked him out, and then I went back inside to say goodbye to Christy and get my things. And I remember just like putting my head in my hands and saying to her, how did I get here? Oh my God, I hate this. She asked me to text her later and let her know I was okay, and I headed out. So I returned home about 3 p.m.
How
when
did you
Andrew
get here?
wasn't there yet. And in fact, it would take him nearly 30 minutes more to arrive, which was odd because he left Christy's house before I did. I never even took my coat off. I never took my coat off or let the dogs out or even turned on the lights. I just paced back and forth. I reread the messages between Andrew and Mom. I reread the texts from Rob. I practiced the things that I needed to say to Andrew, how I would say them. When he finally got there, he walked in carrying bags and blabbing about things he had just bought. But it was all going in one ear and out the other.
Right.
I finally just stopped him and said, I have some things on my mind and we need to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Will you take a walk with me? No dogs, just you and me. He looked a little worried or like maybe caught off guard, but he said, of course he would. So he put his coat back on and we walked out the front door. So as we got to the sidewalk, I wasted no time. I very calmly said, I just want to talk about what happened yesterday with my mom. I'm trying to understand what the goal was, what you were trying to accomplish in that conversation. I said it just like that. That is tone and everything. That is how I said it.
You see that? She's reiterating that because shit is about to blow up.
We had only made it maybe 20 feet down that path, and he did a complete 180, threw his hands up in the air, and screamed at me, I am not fucking talking about this. And he stormed back to the house and went inside.
See, and you see how I fight every time I do it. Every time I click, it's a red flag. I'm telling you, I be catching it live immediately. Now now the shoe's on the other foot. You just called him on his bullshit, but you just got baited. You just got baited, and you're walking into his fantasy. I want to be chased, he said. He turned his arms around. He flailed his arms. He went back to the house. Your house. Go back to your fucking RV. Excuse my language.
Here we go. Time to party.
Yeah, it is time to party.
What on earth just happened?
Show me, Jerry.
I took my time walking back, and when I got inside...
That's how you make something out of nothing. Now the shoe's on the other foot. Now you are wrong, lady. He called your mother out. You called him on it, but you're wrong for it. Stupid, because you about to play into the game. I'm telling you, let's watch Jerry at his finest. Tom and Jerry, come out.
He was like standing at the dining room table, just like angrily rooting through all of his shopping bags. So fucking dramatic.
Right.
And so I just like
a bitch.
leaned up against the refrigerator and just stood there, wide-eyed, unable to comprehend like what was going on. So I leaned against the fridge and I folded my arms in front of me, and without even looking up at me, again, his voice dripping with contempt. Are you just gonna stand there staring at me? Yep. Yes, I am. You're gonna act like a child, I'm gonna treat you like a fucking child. So he starts moving from room to room, putting away his new clothes and like slamming drawers in the process. And that is when I lost it. I wanted an answer. Why in the world did he think it was appropriate to talk to my mother that way? What was he trying to accomplish? And that was when he started going on and on about how we all had an agenda, a political agenda.
Worse than that.
About how we were all slandering Kyle Rittenhouse. About how we were all so caught up in trying to fit everything into our own narrative that we refused to see outside opinions.
Projection.
He kept asking me to prove that Kyle Rittenhouse was a white supremacist. And that meant I was calling him a white supremacist and a racist. And now I'm slandering him. Dude, it was fucking bizarre. That shit was crazy, man. It was wild. It was crazy. He, again, tried to turn everything around on me. All of this was somehow my and my family's fault.
Because, let's keep in mind, because she went outside to have a conversation and said calmly, I want to talk about what happened with my mother yesterday. And this is just where we are, just letting you know that. But I might say that 2 or 3 times because it seems that we have 10 more minutes in this slot.
Just as a side note, I will come back to this and explain what this particular manipulation technique is called. But
projection.
At this point, I repeated my question. Why did you talk
What are you talking
to
about? I'll tell you right now.
I will come back to this. Him. Dude, it was fucking bizarre. That shit was crazy, man. It was wild. It was crazy. He, again, tried to turn everything around on me. All of this was somehow my and my family's fault.
Gaslighting and projection.
Note, I will come back to this and explain what this particular manipulation technique is called.
That's what it's called.
At this point, I repeated my question. Why did you talk to my mother
and projecting.
that way? And he started screaming at me again. Oh, so she's allowed to run her fucking mouth and I'm not. You're just pissed because I destroyed her. Interesting choice of words. I screamed right back at him. This has nothing to do with politics. This is about the fact that in polite societies, we don't talk to our girlfriend's mother that way, you fucking asshole. And with that, he just completely shut down and stopped talking to me. He leashed up his dogs and he left. The whole scene lasted all of about 5 minutes. I shit you not. Oh man. I'm a fucking psychopath.
OD.
So seriously, what in the fuck just happened? Back to that side note real quick. That bizarre off-topic ranting that had absolutely nothing to do with the question I asked him is a form of gaslighting.
You think we're stupid? We could clock that from a mile away. I told you what that is. That's gaslighting and projection because that's what he wants. He projected the outcome that he desired, but he wanted it for you. We know that. Come on now. You're not saying nothing new, baby.
But it's specifically a manipulation called narcissistic word salad. It's a
Oh.
type of narcissistic speech
Okay, my fault. Go
that
crazy,
is
baby.
purposefully confusing. It's extremely frustrating because the narcissist uses circular reasoning, outright lies, denial, or mischaracterizations of events to avoid being wrong or having to take responsibility for something.
Right.
He used this on me all the time. I just didn't know what it was called, or that honestly that it even had a name.
Or deflection.
So after Andrew
It sounds like
left,
deflection,
I
really.
got on the phone with Rob for the next couple of hours, and I just let it all out. The more we talked, the more pissed I got.
And the more deflection and
more
gaslighting you
worried.
receive.
At one point, Rob asked me if Andrew had his gun on him.
Oh.
Interestingly, that reminded me about what he said to Mom in that comment thread, that he had a gun on him at that moment. Before Andrew left on his trip, I suggested he take his firearm with him. He was going to be staying in remote locations where there would be large wild animals. I felt he should take it with him for safety. While he was traveling, he did encounter a bear, and I asked him if he took his gun. He told me he ended up deciding not to bring it because of gun laws in some of the states he would be traveling through. So who was he lying to? Me or my mom? I checked the closet. His gun was gone, as well as all of his ammo. That meant that
so
he
he's
had it
lying.
on him right now.
Why did he
in his
lie?
van.
Why he lie
He
that?
had lied to me. I stayed on the phone with Rob until I saw the van pull up outside. And then I sat down at the dining room table and I pulled up a coloring app on my iPad because it eases my nerves. Andrew walked in and sat down across from me, and he smiled and sheepishly said, "Hi." Just like that. I just stared at him. After a few moments of silence, he told me that he apologized to my mom. Rob later sent me a screenshot of it. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry for being rude the other day. I don't have excuses for what I said, and I could have debated in a less heated manner. I think I was way more grumpy than I intended to be. I'm sorry, it wasn't cool." Who fucking talks like that to a grown-ass woman? Anyway, this asshole actually thought that this was just a typical fight and he could come in and apologize and everything would be fine. And what the fuck even was that half-ass apology to my mom? I could have debated better. This mess was all out in the open now. And on some level, he had to know that, right? It was the weekend before Thanksgiving. Andrew had to know that Rob knew about this. So what? We were just supposed to kiss and make up, go to Rob and Evelyn's for Thanksgiving dinner in a few days. It'd be like nothing ever happened. He really thought that. I remained calm and I told him that this wasn't something we could recover from. And he seemed like genuinely surprised. But
the only reason why he's still with him is because he keeps coming back and apologizing and doing this bullshit, and she keeps falling for it.
At least he didn't lash out at me. I told him I can't.
Did you see that? Lowered her bar again. At least he didn't lash out at me. At least we could communicate. Because she came so calmly before and he got the reaction that he wanted, which was her chasing him down. Now he knows that he could do that. And she's happy just to have a lesser reaction. The fact that he did something wrong and they were able to communicate, oh, well, at least he didn't blow up for telling me, that he took his gun when he was wrong. He said he didn't take it, but he actually took it, and I called him out on it. He's not blowing up now. He just said, oh, I'm wrong, and I made up to your mother. You
can't keep doing this.
You gotta be privy. You guys gotta pay attention.
Walking on eggshells, unable to bring up difficult conversations, but at least he didn't
Hell no, she still thinks she could change him. She's being changed by him. Nope. She's being manipulated. Has nothing to do with that. She's dumb.
lash out at me. I told him I can't keep doing this, walking on eggshells, unable to bring up difficult conversations because I was afraid he'd blow up. I told him that I thought he had a problem being challenged by a woman, and that would always be an issue for us because I am a strong, independent, opinionated woman. And then I told him he needed to leave. So he did. Not before quipping that he was so glad he rushed home from his trip to spend Thanksgiving with me. But he did leave. Once Andrew was safely out
So
of
you're
the
done.
house, I
Story
let
over.
Mom and Christy know I was okay.
Lock the
and
door.
I called Mom. It was an emotional conversation. Andrew's lashing out at her caused all kinds of turmoil in her head. It effectively undid a lot of progress she's made over the years with her own emotional well-being. She did not want to reach out to me because she was afraid I'd see it as her butting into my business. But at the same time, she was terrified for me because she was afraid that I was unaware of this side of him. Ultimately, and thankfully, she reached out to Rob. I assured her that she should never feel afraid to reach out to me in a situation like this, that his behavior was not okay, and that I called him out on it. We were done. She was emotional, but very thankful we talked. She told me that she hadn't slept a wink the night before just due to anxiety and worry, and she was looking forward to getting a good night's rest. After we hung up, I sat down on the sofa and I just sighed. A sigh of relief. I had escaped. I was out. I was free. I knew it wasn't completely over yet. I knew he'd tried to weasel his way back in, but I had a firm out. Later that evening, I got the first of a series of apologies, this one via text.
Love bombing.
I love you. I don't know what just happened. I'm human. I'm not
Told you.
perfect. I make mistakes. I'm not good in arguments. Walking away to cool off and come back is the only healthy thing I know to do. But I'm not sexist. I'm not racist. I do think I'm a good person. And while I strive to be kind, I also know I'm not always.
Did you hear that? I'm sorry, I'm not off of it. Did you hear that first line? I knew once she got the text, it's gonna be a love bomb. The first line, I love you. Like, come on. As soon as I seen that, I wouldn't even read the message.
But I keep trying and I don't give up. My actions for the last 5 months in everything I do shows I care about you and I love you. I meant everything I said to you about how I feel in the future. I'm sorry you're hurting now from actions I said or did. I never meant to hurt you. I'm willing to work on this. I don't want to give up on you or us. I think what we have is special. But I also respect your view and what makes you comfortable too. If you want me to go, I will. Not because I want to, but because I love you and I just want whatever makes you happy. Is it my imagination, or does that just like sound like a form apology? Like a form letter? I wouldn't have like even considered like talking to him anyway about it,
But you
that
probably
is
did.
just so generic, you know, like most generic apology ever. Anyway,
You
I
fell
didn't
for it.
respond, and of course I sent it to Rob, and he wrote back, "He is sexist. He's likely racist, and that last sentence is just gaslighting." Yep, that about sums it up.
Beautiful. At least, see? Thank you. So now we have, okay. I'm happy about that. That was a good, a better response to what's going on. Maybe she has her foot down. We don't know. This section is called departure. We have a few more. We have another 40 more minutes. Oh my gosh, I have to shut up. We have another 40 more minutes. Yeah, right. Rob is doing work. Rob is doing God work right now. All right. With that being said, once again, if y'all haven't already, follow me at the ass below. The Discord is open. The Court is open. If anybody wants to join, please follow at the @ and I am in the general chat if you want to chime in. I'm streaming live on these right now. You can find me at these @. I would love to hear your input, whether it's in the chat or the voice chat, whatever you're comfortable with. I'll be going live Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, maybe. On the weekends, I'm probably gonna be do topics like this. That being said, the departure. Rachel Ramblings, thank you. Follow her.
The next few days were annoying, awkward, and seemingly endless. It was the week of Thanksgiving. I was on vacation.
So we're in November, June. They started in June, July, October. July, October. Wait, what's the? Oh, you can't see it. Damn, I wanted to just show you on the thing. Can you see this? No. Oh, yeah, you can. Is there a way I could show you this? No, there's no way I could show you this. What'd I say? June? Where's June? April, May, August. Why is June not on this? months right there. Yeah, June to November. So we're still in the. How are we in a five? It was just 6 months. So this has to be the end. Yeah, this is the end of November. So this is the end of the 6 months. Okay. So we're still in a 6 month period. Wow. All this happened in a 6 month period. Now we're in what, November 27th or whenever the last Thursday or some shit in November. Okay. I just had to give you the time, the little time
The whole
frame.
week I was off work. On
Because, in 4 days, they went in 3 dates. Like, it's just been a lot from the beginning.
Monday morning, the day after the drama went down, I woke up to a minor crisis with one of my dogs, and I needed to take him to the vet unexpectedly. On top of that, regardless of vacation, there are always like some work things that I have to deal with on Monday mornings, things that only I can do. Andrew had slept in his van, but he came in super early to use the restroom and asked if he could shower. I motioned him to the bathroom, and I made myself breakfast and called the vet while he did his thing. After he got cleaned up, I explained that I had several things to do that day.
No, Rob is not her man. Rob is the brother. Rob is the brother.
And he told me he would just stay out of my
The brother of Rachel.
hair. He just needed to come back in the afternoon at some point to print off some paperwork for the Army. And he asked if I was comfortable with him being in my home without me being there. And I was honest, and I told him no. Then he once again brought up how sorry he was for talking to my mom the way.
Still no. I don't think so. As in friendships. Oh yeah, I mean yeah, he gives it up. He's telling them what it like it is. He read them for filth. Rachel sent Rob the message. Rob responded talking about something. This is a load of shit, and he's gaslighting you. Don't respond. Yes, we do want people like Rob. Tell him what it is and read him for filth. This is crazy.
Way he did. My home without me being there. And I was honest, and I told him no. Then he once again brought up how sorry he was for talking to my mom the way he did. I was exasperated with this conversation, but I let him to my mom the way. Then he once again brought up how sorry he was for talking to my mom the way he did.
Right.
I was exasperated with this conversation, but I let him keep talking. He fucking qualified his apology. He told me he talked to his sister and showed her the conversation, and she didn't think there was anything rude about it. It does not matter what your sister thinks about it.
Right.
It doesn't matter. My feelings matter, or
and my mother's.
And then he said something that just cemented the fact that nothing I said or did mattered. I told him that I talked to my mom the night before, and I explained to him the tailspin of emotions that he sent her into and why. About how he very nearly undid all of her progress over the last several years. His response, I thought you didn't even like her. Holy projection, Batman. Listen, I love my mom.
Let's clock that word, projection. I told you a lot of the stuff that he's saying sounds like it's coming from a personal part. That's what he wants to see in her. He's projecting his own emotions into her. Let's go back and hear that one more time. Thanks.
All of her progress over the last several years. His response, I thought you didn't even like her. Holy projection, Batman. Listen, I love my mom. She and I have had ups and downs over the years, of course. Most kids do with their parents. While I had told Andrew about some of the downs, I had also told him about the ups. She and I had a heart-to-heart about some heavy shit a few years ago, and I've seen authentic changes, progress. I may not have done a good job of telling her that I see the hard work she's putting in to grow, but I definitely told him, and he heard none of it. I stood there in front of him that morning and said, you just proved to me that you've never heard a single word I've said. And I just walked out. At first, he was planning to stay the entire week. Parked outside of my house in that van. He also continued to send me a barrage of text messages over the next 2 days about the most random things as if we weren't in the middle of a breakup. I'm just going to read them in the order they were received because it's fucking weird and it makes me laugh to this day. So enjoy this dramatic reading, or actually this non-dramatic reading of all of the texts I received. Your Christmas tree looks great. How is Bruce?
I'm just gonna let this part play. Forget it. I'm gonna do something else because this probably isn't important. These are all obvious tactics. Excuse me, tactics just to have a conversation started so that he can, get his way back into her good graces. Is he still wearing that ring or something? Like, what's going on?
If you need any help with him, I don't mind at all. I get my blue ID card today. Starry eyes emoji, mind blown emoji, laughing emoji, hard eyes emoji. Only retirees get it. Thanks for having my back during those tough days. It made them infinitely more bearable. It meant a lot to me having you there. Picture of his certificate of retirement. Picture of his DD-214. I didn't know who to put as relative and didn't know folk addresses, so I put you. Hope that's okay. Side note, what the fuck? This is such a weird feeling. Sad, cause we're over. Giddy, cause I'm out finally. Would you want to celebrate tonight with me? I responded no to that one, just FYI. Fair enough, but still wanted to extend the offer. Today is the last day I'll wear the uniform. Feels surreal. Feels like the best day of my life. Picture from inside his van. Link to a love song on Spotify. Video compilation of photos from our first big hiking trip. Still one of the best days, grin emoji. Photo of me at dinner with him in Manitou. This was one of my favorites too. Bet you didn't know that. Sometimes new things are the best things because of who is with you and you're doing something new. What was your favorite adventure? Think our camping trip was one of the best for me. Yeah, the one where you fucking manipulated me into consenting to you moving in. Sure it was. Do I have any microwavable meals still in the chest freezer? Thanks for looking. You sure you really want me to leave tomorrow? It still feels so surreal. I told him yes, I still wanted him to leave. You sure you're sure that you're sure? For sure? I'm sure. Okay, I'll miss you. Did you giggle at my for sure comment? Smiley face. What time are you going to bed? Did you ever listen to that song? Want to see another one? Laugh. Link to another Spotify song. No like? Is there any chocolate ice cream? What time are you setting your alarm for tomorrow? Okay, sweet dreams. Good night. Dude, just stop. Just stop. I was annoyed with the constant texting when we were together. It is infinitely worse when you're broken up. I responded to a couple of the messages, specifically the direct questions, but I think when he realized I wasn't giving in was when he finally altered his plans.
What I miss? Hold on. I have to get like the last. I just wanted to get the messages out, but then I know I seen that I came back. She started talking. I went to the bathroom. Hold on. So what she say? What was that? Like 30, 40 messages?
Dude, just stop. Just stop. I was annoyed with the constant texting when we were together. It is infinitely worse when you're broken up. I responded to a couple of the messages, specifically the direct questions, but I think when he realized I wasn't giving in was when he finally altered his plans to leave sooner. And on Thanksgiving morning, I woke up from the nightmare and truly gave thanks. I watched that big ass silver van drive off West Coast bound, and I breathed a massive sigh of relief.
Finally, the what? The hoovering, the hoover ping, the hoovering. Okay, so the departure. Okay, so we just seen in that last little clip that I guess she got somewhat fed up. She got tired of being sick and tired. There's only so much you could take. You're straight. It really took Rob. It took Rob giving her that extra confirmation to really be like, yeah, nah, he's wailing. Because don't get me wrong, the thing with the mother was bad. But what? You said hydrate? I need some water. Yeah, big Rob as a friend. It's just, once again, it's hard when when you're going through it. You may be oblivious to the tactics that are being used. And then you have a chance to think after the fact, and you're like, wow, I really got played. So it's different. It's hard to see. Moral of the story: make sure you have at least one Rob in your life. Facts. At least have a Rob in your life, somebody that you can just bounce the situation off of. Somebody who's like just a third party, has a little bit of insight, a little bit of something, because shit be crazy outside. People be trying to get it over on you, and you don't know until you like Rachel 6 months in, and the motherfucker done sold his house and living with you, causing turmoil in your family, talking about your mother. Gotta be shitting me. Couldn't be me. When you learned about your height, it was over. I would have walked in there. Like I said, if I'm looking straight over you, said, you're what? You're 6'4" or something? If I walk inside, if this is you, and I'm walking inside like this, you say you 6'4". Where the fuck are you? I'm not looking down. You said you was 6'4". I'm 6. Get off me. You should have saw the text he sent her. I see no. Well, some of. I was listening. I heard a lot of them. I just didn't hear like the last like 15 seconds that I ran to the bathroom. But it was a whole bunch of BS.
Last narcissistic manipulation tactic that I want to talk about is hoovering. It gets its name from the Hoover vacuum. Okay. Hoovering is an attempt to see if the prior target can be conned into another cycle of abuse, so that the narcissist can reclaim their sense of power and control, either by causing emotional or sometimes physical distress. Basically, they try to suck you back in, like a vacuum. Some of the common ways they try to do this are by reestablishing communication after a period of time.
Like I said, you saw that? You saw that? Like I said, trying to suck you back in, trying to make you respond, get you back entwined. Just you hit it on the head too.
Love bombing, repentance, threats of self-harm, and employing flying monkeys. With Andrew, it started almost immediately. Before he even left the state, he sent his sister my way via Facebook Messenger. It was a long-ass letter talking about how she's seen him in a lot of relationships, and he's definitely different with me, whatever that
Lord
means.
Have mercy.
And you know, she was really sweet about it, but he had given her his version of events. He made it about me calling him a racist again. And while to her credit, she did call him out on his behavior, that's still not the point. That wasn't even what I said, even though I do think he's a racist. She said that he didn't know she was writing to me and asked that I keep it between us. I knew that was a lie, so I gave her my full version of events, including the fact that he has a big problem with women and that his words and behavior are, quite frankly, alarming. And I knew full well that she would immediately send it back to him. And she did. He told me. Hilariously, he told me that this was the first he was hearing about any of these problems. Dude, where have you been the last 5 months? Or even just the last 5 days? I explicitly said all of these things to you. For a couple of weeks after that, I got a reprieve, but then he messaged me on Christmas Eve, wishing me and the dogs and the family a Merry Christmas. Oh, and that I hoped I liked the present he had left me. I had actually opened it on Thanksgiving Day, the day he left. It was a card that he had left sitting front and center on my Christmas tree, but it had a gift certificate to a climbing gym by my house. I kept the gift certificate. I threw away the card. He'd written a long-ass note from cover to cover about how he hoped that I continue doing things that I love, that I meet people that challenge my views, that I try new things that challenge me, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, the whole diatribe just pissed me off. Meet people that challenge my views. Honestly, you're gonna say that as you're leaving town after a fight that you continue to try to twist into a debate about political views.
He's trying to incite anything
really,
from you.
It's just about you being a giant manipulative asshole. Whatever, dude. Anyway.
He's trying to incite anything from you, anything to start that line of communication so that he could come back. I'm telling you, he probably not even about to state line.
Anyway, I was trying to remain cordial with him for a couple of reasons. One, there are very few exes that I've just completely cut out of my life. I'm friends with many of them on Facebook or Instagram, and every year or two we check in with each other just to see how the other is doing. I don't have many enemies from my past. There are a couple, but not many. And two, in this
I'm losing brain
particular
cells from her.
case, it was kind of for my own safety. I couldn't really put my finger on it, but I just had this gut feeling that there was more to Andrew's story than I knew, bad things. And given that most of his belongings are still in storage here in Colorado, and he lives in a fully mobile home, his van, he could show up here at any time. I guess I just didn't want to be caught unaware. So on Christmas Day, I wished him a Merry Christmas too. And I intentionally did not thank him for his gift because at this point, I'd already put the pieces together. I knew he was a covert narcissist, and I wasn't going to feed that need for narcissistic supply. That night, I was at Rob and Evelyn's trying to enjoy a damn movie on Christmas with my family, and I got this. Can I ask you something? Do you really want me as a friend? It doesn't really feel like it on this end. If you said it to just be nice, I get it. If that's the case, I can try to figure out my mail. I just wanted to know how you feel, honestly, so we both can make the best choices for ourselves to heal and move on. Dude, you want to try to gaslight me? Cool, I can dish it out too. I didn't say it just to be nice, but it takes time to go from the end of a relationship to that point of being, well, friendly. I'm processing stuff and focusing on spending time with family and by myself. So, if being connected with me on socials is preventing you from healing and moving on, I totally understand. I know it was a petty response. I was petty on purpose, okay? It was late when I finally responded, so I just went to bed after sending that, and of course, I woke up to more.
Coming from the same person who said, "Oh my God, I can't go to sleep with a problem unresolved. I just want to da 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 da." But you're so content now, right? Come on, cut it out, lady.
I typed out a small book, but I'm not sure it's what I wanted to say. I guess because it's fresh, some things still sting. With more time, things will hurt less. I understand and appreciate you explaining your point of view. I care about you. I hope our path hasn't ended yet. I may need some time to put the feelings farther behind, but when I get there, I hope you're in a place where you can be friendly too. Okay. He also started getting weird with my friends and family on Facebook right after this. He unfriended Evelyn, but didn't unfriend anybody else. He never engaged with Rob, but he constantly liked Tammy's and Christy's posts. Christy regularly posts memories and birthday messages for old friends, people I've never even met. And I don't engage on those posts because I don't know those people. But Andrew was. It was super creepy.
The final bombshell. Okay. Um, more tactics to be involved. He's wailing from afar. He's trying to get interconnected again. She's still allowing that connection for some reason. I don't know why she didn't just tell the family to block him, maybe. Answer the question directly. I mean, she did a petty response, but instead of a petty response, you should have just been like, no, I don't mess with you no more. Please leave me alone. Leave me and my family alone. I don't know why you just can't set a boundary and stand on it. That, had you did that initially, there'd be no problem. There'd be none of this. But hey, I guess that's too much to ask for, huh? If you haven't already, please, the ads, follow me on the below. The court is open. Follow me. I think the link is in my bio or something, and you guys could join the general chat, and I'm live there now. If you want to put your input in, it's live. You could talk to me. You could also type in the chat how you feel at any point. I'm live on both of these sites right here. My finger. Where's my other finger? Okay. All right, sorry. Let's keep going. We got 2 more parts, 3 more. She probably got. Oh yeah. So I mean,
A couple of days later, I finally learned the truth of what my gut was trying to tell me all along.
let's hear the BS.
I watch a lot of true crime. A lot. My TV is usually on Investigation Discovery, or I'm streaming YouTube videos from mystery or crime channels to my TV. I specifically enjoy watching videos on criminal psychology and body language analysis. So one evening, I'm working on a macrame project. and I have a queue of criminal psych videos streaming directly to my TV, right?
And I told y'all I like psychology, social, abnormal psych, and all that. Sociology.
I'm listening, but I'm focused more on my project that's right in front of me. Until I get to one on Paul Bernardo. You know, from like the Ken and Barbie serial killers. It's a video breaking down the only police interview with him that has ever been released to the public. The interview was conducted 10 years into his incarceration. Right. And the analysis focused on the narcissistic manipulation tactics that he was using with the detectives. I did not intentionally cue this video up. It was just on autoplay. But as soon as it started, I couldn't even focus on my macrame project.
I'm gonna have to go back and see that.
I was glued to the TV. I literally walked from over there and stood in front of the TV, just like focused.
It'd be like that. I've been sucked in like that before.
Between me and Andrew, the body language, the tone of his voice, the facial expressions, even the specific words he was using, it was Andrew to a T. And in that moment, I could not stop myself. I needed to know what else was in his past. So, I paid for a background check. I specifically wanted to see if there were any other criminal arrests in his past. And boy, I was not expecting...
No. Who called it? Was it you, Sint? Was it, Sint, it was you? Or was it, Retro? This man might be a serial dater. Wait. No, who did that? Somebody say something. Say? Oh my God, wait. She paid for a background check. I said serial dater. It was you. We gonna see. But he a whole criminal. We gonna see. Just, she did pay for a background check. Listen.
What I've been writing, it was Andrew to a T. And in that moment, I could not stop myself. I needed to know what else was in his past. So, I paid for a background check. I specifically wanted to see if there were any other criminal arrests in his past. And boy, I was not expecting what I found. 2006. Arrested for domestic violence, assault in the 4th degree. Charges were dismissed. 2010. Arrested on 2 counts of assault. One was a misdemeanor simple assault, 4th degree. The other was a felony assault, 2nd degree, with strangulation. Again, charges were dismissed. 2015. Accused of and investigated for a sexual assault. And then, of course, there was the investigation in 2021 for child and adult abuse that threatened his Army retirement. You know what?
I am not replaying this one.
I think I can be done with the red flags for now. I think we've covered them all. That's like all the red flags. Yeah. Okay. All right. But you know, I knew it. I fucking knew it. I knew that there was something more there.
Wow.
How had he been getting away with this for so long? How did authorities not see the pattern here?
They never charged him.
How am I supposed to process this? I went to bed so unsettled that night. I had
and
nightmares.
yet, thank God they never hurt her. He never hurt her.
I've had many nightmares since learning this. And that fucking sucks. And there's something else I need to emphasize here. In between me writing this script and filming it, I unintentionally stumbled across an alarming statistic. I was binging a bunch of videos on the YouTube channel of the beautiful, amazing, talented Swoop. Wouldn't you know it, this particular statistic was discussed in her second documentary on the timeline of the Gabby Petito. Is that Gabby Petito went missing in August. Her fiance showed up in Florida with her van, but without her. And her remains were found weeks later in the Grand Teton National Forest. Her death was ruled a homicide by manual strangulation. Her fiance, Brian Laundrie, was named a person of interest. He disappeared. and his remains were later found in an environmental park in Florida. His death was ruled. Brian claimed responsibility for Gabby's death and pointed me to a website. It's assaults, and 45% of the victims of attempted murder had been strangled by their partner within the year before. In a more recent case study, it found that domestic violence murder.
Where are we going with this?
If you want to look at deadly idea, okay. Back to my story.
Please.
The next day, I went on my first big solo hike.
Like, what the hell?
Some pretty big goals.
Okay, so strangulation basically, because some of the strangulation stuff, and she's correlating the strangulation with the taxes of the people and the murderers, and that basically he was on the path to doing that, and she could have been the next victim. Okay.
I wanted to close out the year with something to push myself. So I went up in the mountains and I did an 8-miler with a pretty intense elevation gain. I didn't have cell phone service for most of it.
And you didn't bring Rob with you
find
either.
one spot with enough
Not bringing Rob is crazy.
Signal to post a selfie on the trail. I had an amazing day and I was super proud of myself at the end of it. And then I got home and saw the messages from Andrew. At 11 Mile Canyon, if you follow the road to the end, there's a campground on the right. Before you cross the bridge that is there will be a very small sign and dirt trail that goes off to the right. You hike that up probably half a mile and it drops you off on a cliff that overlooks not only the dam, but the entire lake, and as far as you can see. I was planning on taking you there, but we never got around to it. I think you'd love it. It's as beautiful as Paradise Cove. If you need pen or map, just let me know and I'll get it. Hike is short, little rocky, but beautiful. They mark the trail with stacked rocks. Think Evelyn could make it too. I bet Betty could too. Anyways, hope you go. Like, dude, what the fuck? I didn't respond because, well, I didn't want to. And besides that, I thought our last exchange was clear. I am not in a place where I can be friendly. If that's a problem for you, disconnect from me on social media. Nonetheless, that evening I got more.
She posted it.
Should I not message you anymore about whatever? Feels very unwanted. If you want to be friends, cool, but don't treat me as less than. I responded to this one. I have already told you where my head is at right now. It sounds like it would be easiest for us both if we just go our separate ways. And he responded, yeah, probably. I responded and let him know that I had sent his stack of mail to him and also his spare van key that he had left here. And he said, thank you. You have my address if anything else shows up. If anything important happens, you have my number. It did hurt seeing you delete our pics on Instagram, but not Facebook. You didn't delete your ex-husband's stuff, and he did horrible things to you. Your engagement
still
video
going.
of him proposing is still up. But I did see you reconnected with him on Instagram, so I guess that explains that. I know none of that is my business anymore. It still hurt to see, and I know that's my fault for looking. I won't look anymore. Really do wish you the best. Glad you caught the outdoor bug. I loved you a lot. I tried. Take care, Rachel. Boy, bye. Get the fuck out of here. No. Like, seriously, did we not just talk about this 2 days ago? But also, stop making fucking assumptions, you asshat. One, I didn't delete anything off Instagram. I archived some photos because I didn't want to have to see them. They're still there. I didn't delete them. They just don't show up when you look at my feed.
Right.
And it was only the photos of us being all lovey-dovey because gross. All the other photos are still up. Two, I didn't reconnect with my ex-husband.
If you're not my lover, why would I have you up? If I'm single, why would I have me sucking some girl down on my page? Does that make any sense? Why are you worried about you showing up on my page when we're clearly not together? I don't want anything to do with you. You've pissed me and my mother off. Come on.
I have been following him on Instagram since we started dating over 10 years ago. I never unfollowed him.
Also married that man. Let's not act like that's ex-husband, not ex-boyfriend, ex-husband.
When we divorced, the only reason Andrew could possibly think
he always trying to get back.
that we had reconnected was because I liked one of his photos at Thanksgiving. And the only way Andrew could have even found that was if he scrolled all the way back in my Instagram history, found a photo that my ex was tagged in from over 3 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
Gone to my ex's profile and looked at each individual photo for the last several months to see who liked it. I only liked one over a month before this happened. Creep. 3,
Wow.
my ex-husband didn't do horrible stuff to me. He did horrible stuff to himself that ultimately impacted our marriage. Once again,
Yeah, he's a
proof
stalker.
that Andrew never listened to a goddamn word I said. 4, mine and my ex's engagement video. Where did he even find that?
Wow.
As far as I know, I never posted that to Facebook. Maybe I did. I honestly don't know. I know it's not on Instagram, but I posted it on my personal YouTube channel, the one that I don't use and haven't used in years. Like, I'm talking about my old ass channel. I don't think I ever posted that video anywhere else. If I did, I'm not aware of it. But even still, like, even if I don't know how to find it, like, how the fuck did he find it?
Because he has time.
That
He's
is some
weird.
next level fucking stalking.
Right.
But all of this was just to try to bait me into
Told you.
a fight.
Hello. She clocked it. Bait. Don't fall for it. Bait. He's trying to get back in there. Bait. He got a bait. Bait. She got a bait.
Or something.
Better
And
clock that
gaslighting.
T. Clock
I didn't
it.
respond. I'm not going to take the bait. Like, I just ignored it. On the upside, he unfriended me and everyone I know on Facebook. I unfriended his sister, so that means we have 0 mutuals, and he can no longer see anything on my page due to my privacy settings. We also mutually unfollowed each other on Instagram. Since then, he has either blocked me or completely deleted his Facebook account. Who fucking knows? But that still didn't stop the messages from coming. Since he could no longer reach me on Messenger, he just started texting me again. And I'm talking just completely random messages, pictures of his travels, comments about his heart being content.
Block him.
Frequent morning messages
Block
telling
him.
me he hopes I have a good day.
Block him.
Like, what is going on? He also bought a physical postcard to mail to me, I guess. When I didn't respond to any of these messages for a solid week, he finally sent me a text that said, "Did you block me? I'm confused."
Can you?
What is there to be confused about, motherfucker? Like, I don't understand. Just stop. So I sent him a screenshot of the last conversation saying we should go our separate ways. And I followed that up with a text that just said, "I have politely asked that we go our separate ways and you agreed. Please stop contacting me." Of course, he had to respond one more time. "Okay, sorry. Just throw the postcard away. I won't send any more." So far, I haven't heard from him since. Oh wait, yes I have. I had not heard from him when I originally wrote this script. But then 1 month after that last message, last night, as of the time of me filming this last night, he tagged me in a comment on a bulldog video on Instagram. Just why?
Oh shoot. Okay. Getting to the final part of it. So that's the afar. He's still using this tactics, but from afar, to just keep his foot in the door always. Because God forbid she slips up and she gets lonely again or something, or whatever happens, he gets his foot in the door. He's in that van. He's driving right back over. They have each other's location. Mail is still coming to her house. He's just waiting. He's just playing the long game at this point. Going weeks, days, whatever, sending posts sporadic here, there, but he's not gone. That's the thing. He's not gone. Block him. Apparently not. Just she didn't block him. Let's see what else he could do. I mean, it seems like she's just about over it, but it took all this. And so the I'll let her recap it. I'll do it after she do
Telling
it.
this story in the way I did probably makes it sound like
You're dumb.
I should have recognized this all up front.
Yes, she said. Oh, yes. Thank you. Okay, so she's about to say a lot of Rob is a real one. Yeah. She's probably about to touch about a lot of the stuff that I probably said during this whole entire thing between last video, the last live, and this live. Because this is all retrospective. Like she's seen this is a recap for her. So she's calling out her red flags and everything else. But like I said, it's definitely different when you're going through it than when you're looking back at it, bulls. So let's see what she got to say. Let's see what she got to say.
It's easy to hear me tell it now and think, well, why didn't you just leave at the first couple of red flags? But again, it's only in retrospect that I pieced all of this together. Because I'm pinpointing these red flags for you and focusing on the bad stuff, they're easy to see. But they were spaced out, interspersed with all of these really great, exciting adventures and happy moments. And when you're in the thick of it, the red flags can actually seem like the anomalies. Andrew could be really affectionate and come off as very loving, but that's exactly what love bombing is intended to do. Love bombing can be overwhelming and suffocating, but it can also often feel really good, especially for someone that has been starved of love or even just companionship for many years. And a narcissist, especially a covert narcissist, is a master manipulator. They are excellent at talking their way out of situations, at explaining negative events in a way that makes you feel like their choices, their bad decisions, were completely reasonable or were even necessary. But eventually, the red flags and the emotional abuse overtake the good. It's no longer the anomaly. And this, in and of itself, is part of the manipulation. Because by that point, you're in so deep, it's not as easy to get out. My case is just one example of this. He had manipulated me into moving into my home. He'd repeatedly told me about how devastating it was for his last girlfriend to move out just 24 hours after moving in. Every argument was laced with these little reminders of all of the things he's done for me, none of which I needed or necessarily even wanted, but that wasn't the point. The point was to make me feel guilty at even the thought of booting him out of my house, because then I'd just be another in a long list of people that have done him dirty. He would always be the victim. I learned about covert narcissism in a very roundabout way. I was laying in bed one night. This was pretty soon after he left Colorado. Remember way back at the beginning of this story, I mentioned I've been a member of many forums for narcissistic abuse for years? Well, a couple of them are on Reddit. I was going through my Reddit notifications from that day, and one of them stuck out. It was something along the lines of, why do narcissists claim to be empaths? The thread was story after story of the narcissist in someone's life claiming to be an empath. Now, someone who is a true empath usually won't tell people about it, because being a true empath can actually be pretty difficult to deal with emotionally, and it's often kept private. But much like a sociopath, narcissists lack empathy. However, they know what it is, and they are often very good at faking it. As soon as I saw this headline, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Right after I met Andrew, he made this big proclamation that he was an empath. It came up several times throughout our brief relationship. Anytime we got into an argument, or even when I just told him about some bad thing that had happened to me that day, even if it had nothing to do with him, he'd get completely sour, shut down, and just shut me out. And he'd claim later on that it was because he was an empath and he was just feeding on the
Mimicking.
emotional energy
Yep.
that I was putting out.
Yep.
So that led me down a Google rabbit hole. I think I searched something like, if someone claims to be an empath. I didn't even include the word narcissist. But what returned was
A
article
narcissist.
after article, post after post, with headlines such as, people who claim to be empaths are almost exclusively covert narcissists.
Now, a very big reason for that. What is behind her? You see that where I paused it at? Maybe the screen's about to shift. What is that behind her?
And
Oh no, it's just the thing on that back. I think that's because, like they say, I mean, you mimic the people that you like so that they could like you more or whatever. Like you act like the people or whatever the case is. So like empath would try to mimic, the emotions or whatever, so that you guys could have a strong connection. Like, I feel how you feel how I feel, so we thinking together.
And how to spot a narcissist disguised as an empath. This was actually the first time I'd seen the term covert narcissist. So, of course, I had to dig a little further. I read a number of articles that night, but it all ultimately led me to Dr. Ramani Durvasula, known online just as Dr. Ramani. Dr. Ramani is a licensed clinical psychologist,
I'm
author,
unlicensed.
and professor of psychology.
I am unlicensed here. Unlicensed.
That has focused her clinical and academic research on the etiology and impact of narcissism and the associated personality traits on human relationships, mental health, and societal expectations. Dr. Ramani has a fantastic YouTube channel with just a wealth of information. And I am pretty sure I have watched breaking down and describing the characteristics. It's into the very first video in the series. I was validated. This is what I experienced. I have never in my life met someone that so embodies the specific traits of a particular personality style.
Right.
Funnily enough, Dr. Ramani just released a new video with that and actually empathizing with a person, the deeds for the doing to. He saw on a local message board that there was an elderly veteran nearby that needed help with yard work and cleaning up his message. But here's one in particular that I got drug into. He saw that empathy is more like doing good deeds for the sake of other people seeing you do good deeds. I actually have a lot of examples of Andrew doing exactly this, but here's one in particular that I got drugged into. He saw on a local message board that there was an elderly veteran nearby that needed help with yard work and cleaning up his property. Andrew asked if I would be willing to come help him. Of course, count me in. I was happy to go help, but I was mortified when Andrew took a picture of me mowing this guy's lawn and posted it on social media, tagging me with this big explanation about how we were helping someone in need. It made me extremely uncomfortable. Listen, the only time
trying to seem like the
hero donations or volunteering that I do is when I'm trying to encourage other people to
come out. Right.
Not the case
He's over here tooting his own horn.
It's not like other people could
making it
fly
seem like
out
he
to
give
Colorado and help us mow this guy's lawn. This was Andrew performing. Everyone, look at how I'm taking time out of my weekend to help this elderly man. It was honestly embarrassing. Anyway, Dr. Ramani's channel opened the floodgates and led me to a number of other researchers, counselors, and psychologists. And even just other survivors of narcissistic abuse sharing their stories. There's another channel on YouTube that I enjoy watching called The Common Ego, and it's run by Eat Me Like a Ton of Bricks. But hear me out here. Fairly early in mine and Andrew's relationship, Rob and I had tickets to a concert, just me and him. And that night, in between sets, we were outside talking about this new relationship I was in. And I remember telling Rob that I sometimes wondered if maybe Andrew was on the spectrum. Just between his lack of social awareness, his manner of speaking, and his strange communication skills, the way he'd get upset or shut down at really minor things, inappropriate responses to emotional situations, the repetitive storytelling. So I looked into this further.
That's storytelling shit.
I started searching things like narcissism and autism, and I quickly found that there actually is quite a bit of research.
There's a correlation?
Really? Fact, Dr. Khalid Mansour, a psychiatrist and researcher on behavioral neurology, wrote in an article in the Pan-Arab Journal of Psychiatry that narcissistic personality may merit classification as an autistic spectrum disorder.
Okay. You just want to put it on
There is now a significant level of agreement that emotional processing problems like lack of empathy, poor self-awareness, self-centeredness, poor reciprocation of emotion, poor ability to maintain emotional relationships,
That's interesting.
anxiety, and anger outbursts are more or less central features of autism.
Autism, right?
It is noted.
But that's a more cognitive side of autism, because now you're trying to broaden the spectrum and you're trying to add a different layer. You're kind of pushing the goalpost and you're trying to fit something within whatever, because you have a pie chart and some things do link, but you can't just call these linking things the same thing, because they're not. They have their own separate thing, but you're trying to throw it on the same line as autism. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think it's kind of a reach, but I don't think it's that far. But that's an interesting theory to say it's autism. That correlation is very interesting. Never heard that before.
Noticeable that people with NPD do not show a major degree of functioning problems in stress-free environments.
Let's go back just so I could
autism.
let you know what she said.
It is noticeable that people with NPD,
Narcissistic personality disorder,
do not show a major degree of functioning problems in stress-free environments or when they are supported. However, under stress and without support, they can become quite dysfunctional in a way not far from what we usually see in Asperger's syndrome. Since this experience, I have researched and read and watched as many videos as I can on the topic.
Where Asperger's come from?
I started learning more about all of the manipulation techniques and how they present, mostly so I can make sure that I never get sucked in by them again and, in the future.
No.
Knowledge is power. And now that I've seen it and experienced it and know what it looks like, I am much better prepared if someone tries to do this to me again in the future.
Thank you for that conclusion. That was kind of a null and void point. Like, that whole section we maybe could have skipped. That aftermath thing, this is all the research that she's talking about and whatever. Asperger's, I like the concept that she's going for. That is a reach. Like, that's interesting. But bringing Asperger's and doing all that, this is her view. This is her spin on it. But that is crazy. You said she's going crazy on a diagnosis. Yeah, she's really taking it a little bit far. I mean, she's not, like I said, I'm unlicensed and I have a little bit of knowledge on this, and I'm not even taking it that far. I mean, she's, don't get me wrong, going through it and doing whatever the side research, but like, you got to calm down. It's not going that far, and then you're making your own correlation and links without the proper research behind it. I don't know about that. Like I said, that's the first time I heard that, and I can get with it. Don't get me wrong, I can get with it, but that's like a reach. And then once again, you just brought Asperger's into this, and that's a totally different diagnosis. That's something readable. There's physical traits that are correlated with Asperger's syndrome. So that just took it straight left field. So yeah. But she only said that because it went with the tantrums that are associated with the narcissistic behavior. She's reaching, and it's not direct. It's kind of branching out, but it's okay. I like it. We here. This is the aftermath. So let's hear the conclusion. Said, what you gonna do after this? I don't know. Let's get to after this, please.
So where do I go from here? You know what?
See?
I live.
Shit, you talking to me or her? Because she said, what you gonna do after this?
Live my damn life.
Right.
If nothing else.
She's speaking for me. Holy shit.
So where do I go from here? You know what? I live my damn life. If nothing else, over my summer with Andrew, I rediscovered a side of myself that had been long lost. The side that doesn't just crave adventure, but goes out and actually finds it. And I'm not going to let that go. I'm more confident now than I have ever been in my ability to tackle new things on my own. And I just feel free.
Because she's now privy and has the knowledge, the aftermath. Thank God that you have the ability to self-reflect and do whatever you got to do to learn from your past. Because now, going to future relationships, she's privy to these type of tactics and things, and she can't be sucked in like that. When she sees red flags, she can actually call it out and get herself away from the situation and not go through all this bullshit.
And you know what? I am grateful for the lessons I've learned. Everyone that knows me knows I don't regret anything. Mistakes I've made, bad decisions. It's how we learn and how we grow.
Learn from them.
And I want to finish this off with something really important.
What?
Manipulation, in all of its forms, is abuse.
All right.
Don't let anyone.
I don't want to hear that.
Shit together, and they were supposed to.
Okay, fine. Let me hear it. Let me not do that.
Don't let anyone tell you differently. And abuse is never your fault. I've had very well-intentioned people say to me that, it really looks like I have all my shit together. and they were surprised that I'd ended up in a relationship like this. But it can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter how strong you are, how independent you are, or even how knowledgeable you think you are. I was very well versed in other types of emotional abuse, but many of these tactics were completely new to me. I'd heard of some of them, but I'd never actually experienced it. I didn't know what signs to look out for. But guess what? I do now. And I am sharing my story in the
Privy.
event it helps even just one other person. But if you find yourself in a relationship or a situationship like this, it's not your fault. It is not your fault. You have done nothing wrong. You are a survivor. I will be including a number of resources and citations in the description box below. If you're comfortable talking about your story and you want.
Thank you. All right. That was great. Thank you, Rachel. Once again, if you haven't already, follow her. She was Rachel's Ramblings. Great story. 2 parts. We did one yesterday. That was fun stuff. That was good stuff. Um, that was a lot. That was a lot. Hold on, there's too much going on. Everybody chill. Okay, trailer. I could probably show this. Everybody chill out. Hold on, just chatting. Let's go here, let's go here, let's do this. Shit. How can I show that? Nice. Let's see what this is. I mean, I'm gonna get it anyway, but let's see what it is. It's been like 30 minutes, I bet.
New job just came in. Oh yeah. He said to give you this.
Hold on, wait. The setup is not correct. I'm sorry, I have to pause it. I don't like the fact that I have the setup wrong. It should be on this. Ah. Why is it messed up like that though? That's ugly. Or maybe the full screen would do it. Does it cover me?
Cowherd star has eyes aren't what they used to
Come
be.
on now. Let's speed this up, bro. Let's see some gameplay. I'm getting mad. Oh my god.
Crazy sounds in here.
No, I didn't say it was a no. I just want to see the gameplay.
You're in charge of the stone chamber.
MMO? This is an MMORPG. You have to see the thing. This is an
Might know about the black energy. Move to
Yeah, I'll download it. Is this an MMO? Where do you see the genre? Yeah, it's an MMORPG. Yeah. Okay, I don't usually play a lot of MMOs. We could try it. I'm like I said, if it's free, it's for me. I'm down to play it. I don't think it would be today, but I'm down for it. Oh, not play game immediately. Oh no, I can't. 72 gigabytes. What the fuck? No, not right now. I'm sorry.